Hello my darlings, it's Chanel and willkommen. Welcome to my monthly wrap up for February. I have a kid to drop off very soon, so I'm going to get straight into it and I will start with life updates. So in February, my book channel was demonetized by YouTube because they said my content, which is a book review channel, was too sexually gratifying. They told me to delete the offending content and reapply in 3 months. They will not tell me what the offending content is, which videos are the ones that contain it, and therefore I am left floundering and confused as to what exactly it is that I've done wrong. Is it the saucy, sexy words that I use when perhaps reviewing romance books? Or is it the cleavage? Am I just too hot to trot on here? I don't know. So I ended up starting a Patreon, which was also new for me, where I moved some of my vlogs, like Kinky Corner Reading Vlog, which is where I read very weird erotica, and my Wild Ones book club, because I do full spoilers. So if there's a scene in there, I'm going to want to talk about it. So I moved those over. I also create extra content on there just for my Patreons. And on my channel, I was trying to curb the sexy talk. I am not censoring my fashion choices because I think they're fucking fabulous, and I will not cover up my boobs because, once again, they're boobtastic and boobs should be celebrated. That's just how I feel. If you want to dress modest, fantastic, good for you. I will champion every woman's right to clothe their body how they want to. And so I soldier on over there. So we'll see what happens. If I get cancelled completely, I guess I'll just have to move my book reviews over to Patreon, or maybe OnlyFans. You know, I'm sure they would have no issues with my tartars or my potty mouth. So that was going on. That was took a lot of my time and energy, having to move content, create a new page, and deal with the appeal process with YouTube, which is just laughable. It is laughable, the fact that they give you absolutely no information as to what you've done wrong, besides just one phrase that you've got to try and puzzle yourself. So anyway, that's done. In life, I had multiple Galentine's Days events. One of them, I went out with my best friend Kate, and we went to the Kinky History Tour, which was fantastic. I'll put some footage in here.
A newly released video game. Astarion. You know. Now the thing is, if I'm honest with you, the reason we're doing this is because I've been hyper-fixating on this game for 7 months. No one in my life will listen to me talk about it anymore, so you're stuck with me.
I can't show all the footage because it included burlesque by the absolutely bedazzling Ivana Dalloon, who is definitely a major crush of mine, but gorgeous. The show was funny. The venue, the Capitol, never been there before. Breathtaking, would return. We had dinner, and then I went out to brunch with my friend Kim, and I just also romanced myself. Went out and about in the city as I usually do, and had myself a really great February, to be honest. It also is the last month of summer, so I am wringing that dry. I had some minor health stuff that I'm going to the doctors for next week, so hopefully it's nothing. Fingers crossed, but otherwise February was a really great month for me. I did also, though, have to change stock market brokers, and that's a big thing. Getting a new broker who has a new platform. I don't know about you guys, but in my advanced age of 39, I really loathe having to learn new things. In regards to software, having to learn a whole new program and platform, and then have to find new indicators after I purchased custom ones for my other one. It was a lot. But my old broker, their margins for intraday trading were ridiculous. You had to have a huge amount of money in your account just sitting there just to hold a position. And also their commissions were highway robbery. So I had to leave. So far I'm okay with the new platform. The new broker is great, but the platform, yeah, I'm still learning it. You know how it is. I haven't quite figured it all out yet, but I'm just trying to arse it. So that's all for life updates, I'm pretty sure. Now with TV, I actually did watch a show. I'm not much of a TV watcher, but I did watch High Potential on Disney Plus. This has Caitlin Olsen, who is a queen from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. And basically she's playing Good Will Hunting. You know, she was a janitor, but she's wicked smart. Wicked smart. I can't say it. I'm sorry. I cannot do American accents. And she's cleaning a police station's office, and she notices that they've gotten the case wrong, and she solves it for them because she sees a problem, she's got to fix it. I like it. It's fun. I do not feel any chemistry between her and her grumpy police partner. I don't really like that dynamic, but she's great and I will continue to watch it. Films, I watched a few. The best one being Stoker. This is about envy, jealousy, obsession, and general family fuckery. The piano scene in this, my God, it does touch upon incest, but the two actors that played the family relatives had so much chemistry that I was rooting for it. Sorry. That's just the way it was, but I did really enjoy that movie and the use of sound and the way that they framed shots. I thought it was fantastic. I also watched Subservient with Megan Fox, and this is basically, once again, a movie where humans give AI too much power. So Megan Fox plays a super hot robot, and it's sort of, and look, it is confusing because on one hand, you're like, oh, scary bitch, run away. And on the other, you're like, step on me, mummy. So that was a dilemma. It's not a great movie. That being said, I love Megan Fox, although the cosmetic enhancements that she's got now, I do find that very distracting. I always notice it when an actor has had work done, and then I focus on it. I hyperfixate. So that did keep taking me out of the movie. But like I said, it's Megan Fox in lacy lingerie, so of course I'm going to watch it. I also watched You're Cordially Invited, which is a Will Ferrell, Reese Witherspoon comedy. It was okay. I'm just going to leave it there. I also watched the movie Brothers, which was also okay. So look, I just watched whatever was new to my streaming services, besides Stoker, which I sought out. I'm hoping this month to maybe watch some more arty movies. We'll see. I don't get a lot of time to sit down and watch. If I do, I prefer BookTube over all else, and I am subscribed to so many people that does take a lot of my viewing time, but I am slowly getting back into cinema, and I want to take myself out to the movies more often. With books, I read 42 books, and I had 4 5-star reads, and those 5-star reads were A Little Hatred by Joe Abercrombie, The Burrow by Melanie Cheng, Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey, and The Flying Nun by Cody Goodfellow. All fantastic books and would recommend. My favourite cover would have to go to Shy Girl by Mia Ballard, with a special mention and shout out to Monsters by Emerald Fennell, who is also the producer and writer of the movie Saltburn, which was also a fantastic book. Almost 5 stars. With music, this month I listened to Just Two by Rose Gray. I also listened to Damiano David's new single, Nothing Breaks Like a Heart, which is a remake of Miley's song. I prefer Miley's version. Look, I do have tickets to see Damiano this year, so I am listening to everything he puts out on his solo record. I must say, I'm not really loving it. It's not my vibe. It's very different to Måneskin. But because I, thanks to the pandemo, thanks to the C to the O to the B, id, I missed out on going to the Rush tour, which I'm still not over. I'm still not over it. So I, quickly snapped up tickets to Damiano's show, because next best thing. Even if I don't like the music, I get to stare at the man, so, pays for the tickets in of itself. And maybe I'll get a glimpse of Dove Cameron too. Like, 2 of my crushes, and they're dating. It's too much sexiness in one item. Purchases. There are quite a few. I'm sorry for my flushed appearance. It is in the high 30s in Melbourne, so it's very high, very hot. My beautiful stepmummy gave me a bunch of clothes from her wardrobe. So I got a slew of comfy black dresses. Her style is sexy but comfortable, and a long black cardi as well. She also gave me a sort of tan dress with chain links and a yellow dress with chain links, and these pair of stunning shoes, which were very pricey. I'm very happy to have. I was spewing though, all of her YSL shoes did not fit me. So it was very sad to not take them, but I can't wear a shoe that I don't fit. But the gold ones, I was like, yeah, I'll make it work. I will put so many insoles in those that my foot will be this high off the bottom. So thank you, Mama, for the beautiful clothing and footwear. I also got some candles by this company called Nocturne. Very bougie, pricey, but such a luxurious experience. And I feel like now I might be heading more into the luxury line of candles, because I also bought some from Etsy that were book themed. And let's just say the scent and the quality paled in comparison to the pricier option. So I'm going to go and sniff some fancy candles this week, and maybe I'll get one of those diptyque or whatever that company is, and I've seen them around forever and all of the cool girls have them. I'll buy their smallest version, of course, but I want to try it out because maybe it is a superior experience to the more frugal candles that I've been purchasing. I also got this beautiful wooden piece. It's on my bookshelf. It's mushrooms carved out of wood, and I love it. I really do. And it makes me happy every time I look at it, because we all know that I am a mycelium mama. I also want to thank Tom. Because of him, I got to purchase a bunch of books, and especially this, I'm going to go grab it. This is a special edition with the most beautiful sprayed edges. So this is the Wren in the Holly Library. This wasn't a 5-star, but it was close. I think it was a 4.5. But when I saw this copy, I'm like, oh my God, I need it. There's nothing on the dust jacket. It's just the sprayed edges. But yeah, thanks to Tom, I filled up a lot of my 5-star books on that shelf, and I also purchased some stuff for Get Real Weird with It. I also grabbed a book, Old Soul, thanks to Jay, one of my viewers too. So I got, yeah, a lot of books in this month. Obviously after this, you will see the deck and crochet portion. I got a lot of decks in this month. I did get in the Delian Oracle, but I just got it in yesterday, so I'm not going to be reviewing it in this month's wrap up because I've only worked with it for a day. That will be in next month's. But speaking of my deck and tarot practice, I've made some big changes. So I had over 200 decks, and I have multiple of these chest of drawers, and the bottom of one of them gave way because there's just too many decks for it to hold. And I said, no, I am not going to buy any more furniture to store my decks. I already am taking up too much space in my home with these massive drawers. I've got 4 of them. And I just don't have the space for it. And I don't really have the spending money anymore to be purchasing huge amounts of decks. And also I find it very overwhelming. Over 200 decks is too much for me because I'm also someone that wants to always use and appreciate their items. If something is sitting there untouched, it actually upsets me and I feel like I'm not honoring the object. I like to have a very reciprocal relationship with my possessions. So I sat down, I thought, okay, let's look at all these decks. Do you absolutely love all of them? No. I realized a large chunk of my collection was solely there for me to be able to do pairings in my walkthrough videos. So I said to myself, I said to Chanel's, if you stopped, could you stop maybe doing the pairings? I know you love it. It pleases that Libran aesthetic beauty facet of yourself to put beautiful things together in a very harmonious way. But if you stopped doing the pairings, you could get rid of a third of your collection. So that's what I did. And I feel much better about it. So I know that some people really love my pairing section, but there are plenty of creators out there who are doing gorgeous pairings. There are even VRs about playing with pairs. So anybody at any time can find decks that work with other decks. But yeah, I got rid of a lot. I think I only have 110 decks left, and I'm still very much low buy. My plan is no more than 12 decks a year. I had backed 2 on Kickstarter, but I sat there and I said to myself, you know what? You could wait until this Kickstarter campaign is done, until people have their decks and have done walkthroughs, and then you can decide if you want them. Because most of the time, Kickstarter campaigns, especially if they go well over funding, have leftover decks at the end of it that they resell. And I have just had a few Kickstarter campaigns lately that have left a sour taste in my mouth. I don't like waiting 2 years or more to receive my decks. I just don't think it's cool. I think if you go on Kickstarter, I know some people do it before they've finished the deck. The deck has to be done and ready to go. I know you'd be like, well, Chanel, that way they get paid for their work before they've done it. I get it, but also no. So, and if the deck not only should be ready to go, but you should have your printer, your production partner lined up and secured. You should have had your demos done and be happy with the product and just ready to make the big order. 2 years is ridiculous. My money could have been sitting there earning interest. And like I said, it makes me feel resentful because I'm constantly waiting, and I hate being in the energy of waiting. So yes, I've culled my collection extensively. I'm planning to cull it a bit more. So there are some decks that are like this for me, and I am prioritizing working with those to see, what am I getting from this deck? Should I keep it or should I make space? And so my mom's going to get first pick of the decks that I no longer want, and the rest of them I will stagger over the next couple of years of my giveaways that I do for my birthday, because there's so many, and there's a certain size of box that I can send without spending more than $100. So normally the box I send costs me $100 to post that, and I don't want to spend more than that for a giveaway. So yeah, so that's a massive thing. I'm happier, I'm less overwhelmed. Like I said, I feel spacious and energized, and I've got a renewed interest in using my decks now, whereas before I was just over it. And I was just in walkthrough mode, like getting new decks and doing the walkthroughs and crashing, and spending 1 month intensively working with them so I could do a review. I want to take it easier. I want to enjoy what I have, and I want to have very curated collection. Like I said, I've decided I'm not going to be one of those channels that is all about, the walkthrough and the VRs and everything else. It's very tarot heavy. Like I said, so many content creators on here, so many tarot tubers on here already doing that, filling that niche. I'll show you a new deck when I get it in, because most of the time it is an indie deck, so there aren't a huge amount of walkthroughs for those. And then I'll tell you my personal experiences with them at the end of the month, and I'm happy with that. And that way I can have a smaller collection. If I had the space though, and if I had the money, I would just buy and keep everything. But that's not the reality. So for my current reality, this is what suits me best. Obviously I made 2 decks this month, and that was, it was so relieving to be done with that experience. I did too much. I burnt myself out with deck creation. It's very labor intensive. It takes a long time. You're never fully satisfied. I wish Make Playing Cards would lower their goddamn base cost. I literally make $5 per deck, obviously before tax, because they're priced so high, but I didn't have good experiences with GameCrafter in terms of their quality, and at least Make Playing Cards has good quality, and I've had very little to no issues with them. So like I said, I price them as low as I can, but they're done and I'm very happy with them. I love them. And that's another reason why I'm just not, I'm not really looking for a lot more tarot decks, especially because I've got ones that I made specifically for my tastes. And so because I'm not pairing aesthetics, I just use them. But for me, tarot, I guess, and oracle decks, it's more about the art collection aspect now. Is it something that is really beautiful, and are they pieces of artwork that I want to own and possess and look at my whim? That's how I'm seeing it. Or in the terms of an oracle deck, is it something that is really well written and a fantastic resource in terms of doing the work, the therapy, because that's how I view a lot of decks. They're very therapeutical and they help me to unpack things and process things. So, but tarot decks, yeah, at the end of the day, they all got very similar meanings, unless, there's an author that is just amazing and has a completely different view. Hey, Sylvie. Oh, Sylvie! No! This is a new dress. Well, it's thrifted, but it's new to me, and she just pulled it. She pulled it so bad. Cats, the one thing about cats is they wreck your clothing. Like, I love you just as much, but I'm a bit sad. But anyway, that's everything. I will now leave you with the garden updates. It's just been tomatoes everywhere. I planted, I think, 5 different types of tomatoes. And by I planted, I mean I chose the tomatoes and my ex-boyfriend planted them in there. But I have been watering them. That's the downside of summer, is that I have to hand water so much stuff and it takes up so much time. But why am I complaining? I'm complaining about having a garden that grows fruit and access to water. Chanel, get a grip. I will leave you now with my deck and my crochet for this month. My garden's tomatoes are absolutely popping off. My favorites though are these ones. These are the Black Russian cherries. Okay guys, it's time for the deck and crochet portion. I apologize for my voice. Something's been going wrong with my throat for over a month. It's probably thyroid condition related. I used to just fast to put it into remission, but ever since I developed POTS, I can't fast anymore. So I've been struggling to keep the Hashimoto's under control. I'm assuming that's what's affecting my throat. it could be something else entirely, but I am heading to the doctor's next week to get it sorted because it's hard to film when I'm spending most days a week unable to speak. Anyway, let's talk about the bags I crocheted. So this is just, I had black and red acrylic yarn in the house, so that's what I used. And I did it in, I think I just did Suzette stitch for this one. For some reason I didn't write it down. And the deck in here is the Limerence Tarot, which I made. So I like Make Playing Cards as linen cardstock. I do feel like it's a little bit thinner than usual than the last time I ordered a deck, and they've got the red gilding on there. So this is a deck that I did put up for sale, and it's a collage art style, and I'm happy with how it came out. It's random in terms of the pictures that I chose for each one. I just did whatever I felt like, and with what I could find in the free image databases, which just, yeah, they take forever to go through, and I don't always find what I'm looking for, and I just have to make do. But this time around I did not make it as dark because it does print darker than my computer's color settings. So I made sure to make them lighter in editing. And yeah, they're still dark and moody because, yeah, I like dark and moody, I guess. There is some brighter, softer cards in here, but yeah, the majority of them have the darker vibes and tone. But yes, I'm happy with how it came out. I am beyond ecstatic to have it completed. Making these tarot decks took almost a year, and were pretty much how I spent a lot of my free time, just slaving away at my desk until I finished each card. But yeah, this was, I've been having a fun time with it. Obviously I love my own decks because I made them. So they've always read well for me. And yeah, I'm really, really happy. I now have 2 tarot decks, well 3, because I've got my Persephone themed one, but that's one I use with Goddess Work with Persephone. But now I've got 2 other tarot decks that I can pull out whenever I want to, and that I know very well because they're imbued with my own personal take. Oh, these cards are all still stuck together on the meanings of the cards. So yeah, this one was the Halcyon Tarot, and I've kept all the lovers cards in there, all the 3 iterations. I know other people probably don't, and increases the chances of me getting a lover's card, and yet I have not pulled a lover's card. So I don't really feel like it increases the odds that much. I still feel like you get whatever card you're meant to get, regardless of if there are doubles or, in this case, triplicates of a particular one. But yes, this was the Limerence Tarot. Okay, next up we have a bag that is in my favorite type of crochet stitch, and that is, oh my god, is this crooked? Oh, that sucks. All right, I'm gonna have to try and fix that editing. This is Star Stitch. I love Star Stitch, obviously though, because this one has, sorry, it's cat hair and everything, because my cats like to sleep on my bags. A lot of black in it, so you can't really see when anything's in a black stitch, but just, oh, I love Star Stitch. It's a bit of a pain to do, but I love the way it comes up. This is in Obsession Yarns in the color Chemical Fire, and I did a sparkly purple button. There is one thing I regret about this deck. So this is my personal deck. This is the Halcyon Tarot. I do regret not getting purple. I went for the holographic rainbow edging instead, but oh man, I should have gotten, because there's purple in here, and I should have gotten purple. So mistake, I'm not going to buy another one. Oh my god, because they cost over $100, and that doesn't include shipping. Make Playing Cards decks are ridiculously expensive, even if you're making it yourself and just buying it for yourself. They just cost so much money. So I'm like, it's silver hologram. Obviously, if this deck gets ruined, the next time I will do purple. But yeah, this is my personal deck, so I got to do just whatever I wanted, and it's extra fun, man. I was just in Pinterest heaven and had all these folders, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to now collage all these images I love into new images for my own personal tarot deck. So yeah, this is my favorite tarot deck of all time because it's my ultimate deck. I will say though, towards the end, because I did this one after Halcyon, I did just try and get it done. I was over it, and I was just like, okay, this one picture, like this is all collage, but I'd be like, all right, this one picture, that's it, that's done. I just want to get it finished. So I got a bit lazy towards the end. I just love the fun of it. This hot bitch, oh my god, I'm so happy I got to put her on a card. and it makes sense for what it is. Yeah, towards the end I got a bit, I rushed it just to get it finished. I thought this isn't my ideal Page of Wands card, but it will do. So just like with my other Limerence Tarot deck, I did try to make the quartz of each suit similar so that they kind of go together. Whereas, like I said, for every other card, it's just whatever, bro. So I just found what I liked and ran with it. This was obviously having a moment of painting on a commission flat block. So yeah, I had to skip through that 10 of coins, which has me and my kids. So I love that my kids are in here. I put one of my cats in here. That just makes it more personal. And like I said, it just really brings the meanings to life a bit more. I love this star card with Dita Von Teese. It's a vibe. Oh my God. And I love my devil card with Lana Del Rey and Damiano David. So it's very nice. And then I've got my Witcher. My Witcher quartz, which will obviously be a thing of the past once that series is far behind us, but still now they're frozen in time, memorialized. I also love the world card. Yeah, I pretty much love almost every card in this deck. There are some that I like less. I think no matter what you do, whenever you create something, there are going to be parts that you're not totally satisfied with. I don't know, like even with this one, this is such an old photo of Damiano now, and I'm like, oh, I could have found a better older emperor than just whatever, you know, hot guy in a red flamboyant outfit, which is what I went with. But yeah, so there'll be cards that I'm like, oh, I could have done that better, but I'm just happy it's done. Like with this one, I regret now leaving that as a square. I should have better utilized the fireworks with the lilacs into the background. But like, yes, it's one of those cases where same thing. I was just like, oh, I'm so tired. So I just put the watercolors of the wisteria and then the fireworks and then these ladies. And then I changed the coloring. And I was just like, I want it to be done. So, but overall, I am thrilled and pleased as punch. It was a big accomplishment to make both of these decks. This is Hecate, by the way. She's on the crossroads. And I inverted the image as well to give it a sense of otherness. Oh my God, this is one of my favorites too. This is the Lovers card, and I've currently got this as the background on my phone. And I've just always loved this picture of these two models smooching. I feel like it was the Galliano runway show. I might be wrong. It was such a long time ago, but it was such an iconic image that I just wanted it immortalized. Now it's on my phone. This is Ophelia. This is used so often. There's so many books that use this as a book cover, and it does sucker me in every time because it's one of my favorite paintings. It's just so moody and evocative and sad. There's the Nine of Cups lady. So yeah, this was the Halcyon Tarot, and no, I cannot sell it. Okay, now we've got the last deck. So I did get the Delian Oracle in this month, as I said, but walk through for that next month because one day of getting it in is not enough for me to give a review. So this bag is made, oh my God, what was the yarn for this one? I think it was Malabrigo Rios in aquamarine, so that's the blue. And then this was just a leftover yellow, what's the word? Leftover yellow mulberry silk yarn I had. Oh, and I forgot, this wasn't Suzette Stitch. This is actually Trinity Stitch, which it's hard to see because it's just a black and red. That's why I was like, why does this look weird? This is Suzette Stitch. So this one is Suzette Stitch. And inside I have the Victorian Fairy Tarot. So a bit of, yeah, let's look through the guidebook before I get into it. So this is the guidebook it came with. It's a hardcover. It's good quality. It's got the certificate in there. It's got a silk ribbon, glossy full color pages. I did the spreads. They were decent. The writing is fine. This is more about history, like they're talking about absinthe in here. This is a divinatory part, and then you got some keywords and the quote. So this was fine. Like, you know, I don't really use it that much, to be honest, because I'm, you know, it's typical tarot. So once I read through the whole book, which I do, because otherwise I feel like I'm missing out, because you don't get every card in a deck. So when I get a deck, I want to read every entry, so at least I've read everything. So it's a good guidebook. These are the backs of the deck. They're more yellow than I thought they would be. So they've got this like yellowy, greeny color, and they're very soft, but it's nice. They're pretty. They've got a sharp gilding. This is a sharp gilding, and they did come bowed. So mine came bowed. and they were all stuck together. You could not take a card off without 10 following it. So let's go through them while I talk about it. I don't like the cardstock. Like I said, it warps and it bends and it doesn't bounce back. So I'm not impressed with the cardstock and the edging either. I don't like it. I bought this deck. This was an out of print deck and I had massive FOMO because I loved the illustration style. To me, this reminds me of The Magic Faraway Tree by Enid Blyton. And that was one of my most beloved fairy tale childhood books growing up. I just loved hearing about the kids' adventures in the Magic Faraway Tree and their best friends, Silky, the fairy, and Moonface, and the honey cookies. I've forgotten what they're called now because I don't have my copy of that book anymore, which is really sad because it had beautiful illustrations like this. So when I saw this, I thought, oh, it's like having a piece of the Magic Faraway Tree again. I mean, come on. And it's, my childhood idea of fairies. This is what I imagined. My imaginary friend was a fairy and they look like the fairies, in this book. So when I saw it was coming out again, I jumped on the Kickstarter. Now, the Kickstarter took almost 2 years from backing it to receiving the decks, which I'm not happy with. And I know it's because they decided to change printers and yada, yada, yada. But this is what, like I said, the thing for me, I feel like if you're launching it, you have to have done the work already and put in some money. Like you had to have finished your deck and have gotten a demo copy printed and are good to go. Okay, I know people don't like doing it that way because it means, like I said, investing your own money and putting your own work in. They'd rather get the money first and then, essentially be paid in advance for their time and their work. But yeah, there's plenty of Kickstarter creators that don't do that, and therefore you do get your deck in a timely manner because all they have to do is put in the quantity of the order and then ship them out, not this 2 years business. And they did, throw in a pocket deck and a silk, but I don't care. Like, I'm not going to use that pocket deck, and like I said, all that business about finding a better printer, and I think this, like I said, this cardstock is trash. It's warped, it's fragile, the gilding is awful, and I feel like overall it's got a lot more of a yellow wash than I feel like the original deck had. Like, it's just very yellow and it's not crisp. These images have been blown up. And someone did a walkthrough with the original, and you can actually see, because I was looking at it, I'm like, why does this look not pixelized, but it looks like it's been enlarged? And it has. So they show that the original photo, there was more around, and they've zoomed in, and I'm not sure why they did that, why that was the choice to zoom into the photo. So I feel like it has distorted the quality of the image. Also, I don't love the font. The font also, like I said, looks blurry and fuzzy. And this is just a home job, and it's just put up on Make Playing Cards, different story. But this was like, a massive Kickstarter campaign that took over 2 years, and this was an expensive deck. So I just expected more, considering we had to wait 2 years to get it. I was like, all right, well, the quality will be top notch, but I don't feel it is. That's just my personal opinion. Yeah, it's a letdown. In terms of reading with it, like, I don't know. It's okay. I don't know. I think I need some time and space away from it and to come back with it in the future. But like I said, the cardstock is an issue for me. And I feel like it would get wrecked with riffle shuffling. I probably wouldn't recommend it. So, I don't know how the gilding will also go long term, but it's just, it's not a pleasant shuffling experience because it's sharp. So yeah, I don't really love it. Am I keeping this big sized? Yes, I am, because like I said, it reminds me of the Magic Faraway Tree, and that's enough for me. Like, I do like the artwork, even though it does look a little bit distorted. But as a actual working tarot deck, I don't see myself turning to it much at all. So this will be like a collector's item that I keep in my personal collection, and I will be giving away the pocket size one because I've just got no need for it. But yeah, like, it's okay, but I wasn't very happy with the overall experience, and it really did sour me on Kickstarter. There is another deck that I'm still waiting for. It is the Joy of Wonder Walking. I can't remember what it's called. And that's pissed me off because not only has it also almost been 2 years, half of the backers got their deck sent to them over 6 months ago. And then the second half of the backers, or what the creator refers to as the second wave, have not. We're still waiting. We're still waiting. So I'm like, why did half the people get theirs and half of us are still here with empty hands. Yeah, and it's frustrating because your money has gone and you have nothing. And I know that happens sometimes with Kickstarter. You don't get a deck. Like I'm assuming we will eventually get our decks with that one. I don't think the creator is running off with our money, but you know, like by this point, I'm over it. I'm over it. So yeah, I'm even more discerning with my Kickstarter now. Like there was one on there and I was just like, I'm going to wait until it's done. I want to wait and see if there's any issues with the quality of the deck. I want to see if people even get their decks, and then I'll consider purchasing it. You know, I want everybody's opinions first before handing over my cash. So yeah, these were the decks that I worked with in this month. And until next time, stay wild, Star Child.